Hi, I'm Nisha Blackwell, founder and CEO and lead designer of Knotzland Bowties. I am from Pittsburgh. I boomeranged back after college, and so I went to college in Edinburgh, now Penn West. So that's Erie on the snow belt, and so, you know, I definitely was not staying there. So I boomeranged back actually to my childhood home in Homewood and lived there for, like 8 years until I met my fiance, and then we moved in and we moved to Regent Square and then moved to Penn Hills. So we are current residents of Penn Hills and love it so much. So in college, I studied many things. I studied psychology, criminal justice, a little bit of business, and then I came back home, and it was really hard to just like find my footing and find my space. And so I started working different jobs and learning again, like what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. It took me a very long time to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And the last stop was I went to CCAC, and I was in school for nursing. I saw myself kind of in that career path. I've always been a helper. I did healthcare throughout college to support myself through college. And I kind of saw myself doing that. And then there was an opportunity that came up where I had recently got let go from a coffee shop. And my good friend's daughter, who I'd been friends with since preschool, had a birthday coming up. And my friend, we've been friends since preschool. We're still friends. She's about to get married. And we lived across the street from each other. Like, we literally were that tight. Our families knew each other. And her first child had cerebral palsy, has severe cerebral palsy. And so when she had her second child, it was just a different experience in motherhood. And I wanted to do something super duper special to celebrate that. And I didn't have a lot of money. So I looked in my thrifted bag of clothing, and I looked, and I had a sewing machine in the box. And I said, okay, what do I have here that I can make something special with? And I taught myself how to sew and made a hair bow. And that's my first introduction into the physical making and also entrepreneurship and making something by hand. But what I will say is I always leave out the fact that, because, you know, after 10 years in entrepreneurship, we had a lot of time to do self-reflexive work and reflect on like what really got me here. All throughout my life, I've been a creative person. I've never had direct examples of people who were able to make it as creative beings in my world. It was always, you know, you go to college, you get a good job, and, you know, you take the traditional route. I've never been exposed to people who make it work as a creative career and are successful and thriving. And so I never saw it as a path for me. So I did all these things only to come back to, you know, my roots and who I am as a person. I look back at some of my sketchbooks. I always drew like gowns and dresses and these really cool things in my sketchbook. And I'm like, I was just sketching, but I didn't realize that I was expressing myself in that way. And that was a creative outlet for me that it actually carried me through a lot as a child and as a young adult, but it was like manifesting itself in that way. And then I just did all the other things, and finally came back to who I am in these past 10 years. This is where the magic happens. This is where the sewing happens. A lot of the designing, I talk with a lot of clients about their collections here. Also, a lot of people, once they find out that we do make custom ties, they almost always want their own custom ties. So we have tons of fabrics over here. Even more, this is just what is presented in the space right now is just a fraction of the overall fabrics that we have. And people can design whatever style bow tie they want. And so we love being a part of that co-designing process with our clients and our customers. This particular rack here is one of my favorite racks, is one of our partnerships that we have with a local linen company here in Pittsburgh. And when the linens are no longer usable, they make it like a little nick or something. They can't be rented for an event. So we have reclaimed them, and it gives us an opportunity to have bigger pieces, larger reams of fabric, mean more bow ties, and we can design a certain style more than once, which, you know, when we started, we were only able to do like one-offs, like you see a bow tie and that's it. And now we do more of like collections of like 6 max. If like we have a particular fabric that we have a reel of, then we'll blend it with some of these materials where we can do like a couple more. And we've tried to update our labeling and our packaging to say like 1 of 3, you know, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. So people really know that they're getting a unique and one of a kind piece, even if it is like from the same fabric selection, the placement is different, the details are different, and so you're still getting your own unique one of a kind bow tie. So we use 100% reclaimed fabrics and materials for the past 10 years. That shows you that there is no shortage of fabric waste in the world. And that was really why we started, is to reclaim and repurpose things and show the beauty in things that already exist and give them new life. So we have, of course, the linen companies that we work with, but also drapery, interior designers, other artists. One of my personal favorites is the Minnesota Opera. We work with them, and they send us, after each production season, they collect this big box of their sort of remnants and scraps that they put into the box, and they ship it to us. And sometimes they will hand deliver it, which is also a treat in itself. And there's just the beauty and the quality and the drama and the story. Like, our customers love knowing that they're getting something from an opera in another city. Quick story, the machines and tables that you see here are actually custom built. They were built for a film called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It was actually filmed in Wilkinsburg. So when we first moved in, this was all open space. And about a week before we opened up shop, we got a call saying, hey, can you use any vintage machines? And we were like, sure. And we didn't realize they were these huge tables, which have become sort of a staple now over the past 5 years we've been at the shop. And so they came with these vintage machines, custom placed inside of them. The motors still work and everything still works. They've been refurbished. And they also came with these lights on the back here, which we decided to just kind of put them over our partition to just like reuse them in a different way. But they were actually clipped to the tables in the film. Our lighting all is reclaimed. It came from the Free Store in Braddock, and we were gifted that like right before we opened. It's just another one of those beautiful things about Pittsburgh, is once you start moving and going towards a destination or a dream, then people are going to see it and support it and show up in ways that you just would never expect. I mean, we have a whole chandelier here that was free, and our electrician, the Free Store gave it to us, and our electrician was like, ooh, we can like fix it up. It was just a big long string, and he made this cute thing that has also become a staple in our shop. I have no background in fashion, no background in business. I just went out, gave my friend her gift, and I left with the entrepreneurial bug because people wanted those hair bows. And so I fulfilled orders, and it just felt good to like, at first it was anxiety ridden to give a gift that was made by hand and like hope that it didn't fall apart and all of this. But then to give that and to get that response, like, I feel like it's like a high that I kept you like, oh, this is cool. What else can I do? What other designs can I do? And it just felt good to make something and have something, a thought, and see it come to fruition, and also see people want that. This came from a tattoo studio, and the folks from Leona's actually dropped it off on our doorstep and helped us set it up. And again, I just love sharing those stories of space, because it becomes a part of like community and showcases just how tight-knit the community of Pittsburgh is. These are typically placed around the shop, but we have customers who come in and they like put them here and examine them. I'd say the average person The average customer who walks into Knotzland to select a bow tie spends at least like 30 to 45 minutes here. And that's average because there's so many options and people are just like excited. And most people will leave with more than one and start a collection of bow ties because they're just so unique. It's hard to choose between like this one or this one when you can see them in different environments. And we're so passionate about the idea of taking an accessory, not just upcycling and reclaiming, but taking an accessory and making it, helping it make an outfit feel totally new, right? Like, and using what you have in your wardrobe to refresh it through the use of accessories. That's a beautiful thing about accessories. And we work with a community of women who sew from home and help us with production with some of our projects. We're working on a big project right now for an organization where we're making 70 units, but they're not bow ties. They're actually pocket squares and twillies. And that has challenged us to like expand and learn more skill sets within our sewing realm. But the beauty of that is that we are able to work in community with sewists who are friends, who are also small business owners, and we love that. And so between the environmental sustainability, the community impact, it's like just, it warms my heart that like our customers, what they get is this little bow tie in a box, in a beautifully wrapped box, but then there's so much more to the bow tie, and so many folks get excited to like go into the world and share those stories. They're like, you always know when someone's wearing a Knotzland bow tie because A, it's a beautiful bow tie, but because of the story. And they are excited to share like, oh, I got this from Knotzland. It is a Black-owned tie business. And, you know, they do community work, sustainability, creativity. And like, that is what I love because like now we turn customers into like champions for our brand. And as a small business, like you can't ask for anything more than that because like that is free advertising and the best form of advertising. I think about when we got commissioned to do a collection for the Carnegie Museum of Art to put into their locally sourced exhibit. And this exhibit featured folks who were like living artists who are making like it was artisan based. And they trusted us with some archival fabrics to use to like make these bow ties. And it was really beautiful. But it was the first time that my family like noticed that it wasn't just like a side gig, but they're like, and that happened like in 2021. We started in 2015. And it was the first time that my family was like, wow, you're in the museum. And I was like, yeah, like we've been working hard to do this. And another moment for sure would be the Danny Glover, like the Oscars, having Danny Glover wear our tie to the Oscars because he became sort of a bridge, an intergenerational bridge for us. So now we gained a level of like credibility and respect amongst our elders and older folks like who come in here and they see this like prominent Black man who's like been in many movies be in a Knotzland bow tie and like choose Knotzland, like specifically say like, I want this business to make my bow tie to be representative of the work that I've done to receive this humanitarian Oscar. And I'm like, that's like game changing. This idea has put me into rooms. Being asked to be on the board of the Andy Warhol Museum, like that. Like, that's why I say like both locally, like it's like a variety of things that have really brought my mind into this space. Like, wow, you know, I have been asked and I had this idea and I went with this idea and it has opened up so many other doors and it has really built a career from scratch in this city. I am also very, very grateful and proud of the work that I've been able to accomplish in community, you know, here.